What is your magnificent obsession? I'm sure it's not likely that many of you would have heard that expression before. Generally, in Nigerian social space, I have never heard anybody use that expression. I discovered it over 20 years ago when I read a book written by some American expert. But for me, I embraced it because it described how I felt because at that time, I was working in paid employment and I was a very high flyer. I did very well in the company before I left. You can always check my about page for that details of what I did while I was in Guinness, Nigeria. The reason why I'm bringing this up now is because my magnificent obsession is the reason why I succeed today. And it is the reason why I have defeated every single bout of adversity. I've overcome every single bout of adversity that I've encountered in my life, both personally and in business. Most importantly, it is the reason why I seem to have a never-ending ability to create solutions that will enable me to take my brand to the next level in my business. Your magnificent obsession is that thing you will gladly do 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, for the rest of your life, even if nobody pays you one kobo. If you heard me say this just now and you cannot think of anything that you will gladly do for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even if nobody paid you, so long as you have breath in you, that you will do, and you will be happy doing it. You will feel fulfilled doing it. If you didn't have anything jump into your mind right now, please go and spend some time. Find some quiet time away from everybody and do some deep thinking. I am sure you'll be able to narrow down to something. Now, here's the truth. When you identify what your magnificent obsession is, you may not be able to find a way to link it to money making. In other words, there are some things you feel are things you can do 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, without needing to get paid to do them. And you'll be thinking, so who's going to pay me to do this? In fact, there are some things I can even think of right now that you might also be able to do. I mean, some people will say they would love to have sex 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, eat 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, sleep, watch movies 24 hours a day, but that's ridiculous. We're talking now about productivity. So there's no decent, responsible-minded human being that would want to do all those kinds of stuff that don't translate to income earning. And do that as like on a daily basis without end. So we're talking now about things you can do that will add value to others in a manner that makes them want to pay you. So we're talking about deciding on a line of activity that you go into that will make you money. Okay, like I said, you've thought about it, but maybe you can't immediately see how you're going to make money. That's good. The first most important step is that you've talked about that activity, you've thought about it, it can make a difference in people's lives. It does something for other people. That is important. There is always something you know or have the ability or the capacity to do that if you do it, others will appreciate. That is what I'm talking about. That's your MO. What is that thing you love doing? That when you do it, you are so good at it, and that when you do it, can be used to impact other people positively in a manner that will make them appreciate you. Okay, so they appreciate you. They come around you for it. Maybe some of them love. Maybe you are somebody that you're very pleasant. You are nice to be around. You know how to make people feel good. You could be a person who goes into entertainment. There could be some form of entertainment you could do. You could become somebody that will be a public speaker, maybe because of the way you express yourself. You could be somebody that will be what's it called? There are some people who are in the field where their interpersonal skills are so useful. Okay, human relations, human whatever. So you are good at this thing. Now you want to ask yourself, how do I make people pay me for this? The first step is you sit down and look at the people that have come and expressed appreciation for you, directly or indirectly, knowingly or unknowingly. Somebody that's commented on this casually, probably not thinking of it as something that he might need to pay you for, but just say, man, I appreciate that about you. Or someone that just observed, wow, that's great. You mean you did that? Wow, I'm impressed. The fact that that person took note enough to say something to you about it. It doesn't have to be anything about money. But the fact that the person appreciated it, noted it, and thought it worthwhile to say something about, that is a pointer to the fact that that thing you love doing, some people appreciate it enough. So you see some people get paid for their artwork. I see artwork, it doesn't mean much to me. I'm not really a fan of art. I mean, in terms of paying people for artwork, me, I don't understand that too. All these things they pay for that they put on their walls. Me, I stay in the room and I don't even mind if all my room, my walls are bare, But some people appreciate art a lot, visual arts. Some people appreciate music. Some people, we all appreciate different things. I appreciate literature. I appreciate reading knowledge. I'm not talking of academic knowledge, now knowledge about life, growing in understanding of things. I love that a lot. So whatever you appreciate is what you're likely to be willing to part with money for. So you now begin to look for people who appreciate that kind of thing you have a magnificent obsession for. There will always be people. The thing is, the minute you begin to focus your intellectual energy on your magnificent obsession, in other words, you begin to think more about it. Remember the spirituality for marketing video in the series, the one I talked about, the science of getting rich. Thoughts are things, okay? To think riches in the midst of appearance of poverty. Whatever you focus your thoughts on will eventually manifest itself in the physical. Not immediately, but over time. The forces in the universe will work in your in tandem with you, in conjunction with you, to make them happen. So you begin to focus your mind on those things. On that thing that you love doing. It will attract to you people that appreciate it, because you're now doing it more intensely. So you begin to work on it, improving your ability to do it, doing it more often, whatever it might be. It could be sewing, it could be whatever. You begin to explore opportunities to get better at it by maybe linking up with people that already do it or that do it better than you, and you begin to look for ways to grow. The more you put effort into it, the more your intellectual capacity to engage in it will increase. The more you will begin to emit energy, spiritual energy, that will attract people that appreciate it. It's just a matter of time. They will gravitate towards you over time. And by the time they come to you, you have to be ready. And what is the kind of readiness you should have? You should have built up yourself in such a way that by the time they come to you, it will be like they discover an unending supply of this thing that gives them pleasure that you are able to do. Now, how does this all translate into money making? Let me explain. I have my own magnificent obsession. From way back in 2000, I always dreamt of writing for a living. But I knew I could not write like the Americans were writing. You write a book and you get published, like Chimamanda Adichie is doing. I didn't want to live in America. I've never loved the Western world. When I went to the UK in 2000, I was bored. I was disgusted with the fact that you be next door to somebody you're not seeing for weeks. You don't say hello to each other. The streets are deserted. I can't live like that. All those, there's snow and all that. I came out in October from one of the hotels in the middle of London, and man, the cold weather wanted to kill me, and it wasn't even winter yet. So man, I can't live there. But get this, I read books by people reaching in those environments, and I saw that some people were living a lifestyle in which they would get up in the morning, get up to their computer and start typing. And what they typed, by the time they type and type and type, after some weeks, months, they will turn it into a book, sell. Some of them are digital books, not even physical books, and they will make money without leaving their homes. And I thought to myself, I would like to do that. Work from home, not have to chase people around like I was doing in the brewery at that time, and I'll be able to make money. I thought to myself, I've got to be able to do this. Should be possible. And at that time, the internet was becoming more and more. In 1999, I'd gone and gotten myself an email address. I'd learned from a young man called Victor how to do basic HTML coding, because I was already interested in web design. I've always been somebody that I love stuff like that. So by 2000, when the company began to, I was promoted, if I recall correctly, and I was sent to the UK. I came back, I began to explore the web more and more and more, and I began to discover all these people who are online publishers, online writers, online authors, and the more I saw them, the more I knew I wanted to do that. Okay, I wasn't even thinking of spreadsheet coding that time, and I was doing spreadsheet coding in company, but I didn't think of it as a business. I was thinking more of my writing skills, because I was doing a lot of that in the company as well. So I saw the relationship between the writing skill I had a passion for, all right, because I did a lot of writing in the company and it was getting me a lot of attention, but nobody was paying me for that directly. I was getting a salary, but it wasn't because of that. They said, oh, good writing. No, I was adding value. I was creating training manuals and doing all sorts of things in addition to the spreadsheet software development I was doing. So I thought to myself, I would like to use more of my time to create a lot of writing for people to read, and I would love to do a lot of speaking, because I was a training manager. I was doing a lot of training. I was involved in training very actively for my first year in the company. So I knew that these were things I had a passion for. And I knew I used to sleep in the brewery. I knew I had it. It was my MO. It was my magnificent obsession. The thing was, how would I now link it to getting paid? At a point, I realized that the only solution I had, after some things happened again to me in the company, I said that I needed to just quit the company to go and do this for a living. All right? So I already identified the market. But guess what? When I came out, it didn't go straight like that for me. It was an up and down journey. As you know, startup entrepreneurship is not a straight line it's not a straight line experience. It's something that you have a lot of ups and downs. But today, I live my dream. A lot of my writing I get paid for. Okay? And I do even more for people digitally. I love my software I've been selling for years. I do all of that. I earn passive income from that. And I realized that the reason why I was able to succeed was because I began to build up. This is what I was telling you about. Let people come and discover an unending supply of this thing they love, the thing they want, the solutions they need. They find that you are like a one-stop shop for all those things. What I did was I poured my heart and soul into doing my business obsession. Since it was an obsession anyway, I poured my heart and soul into it, into pursuing it, in such a way that I kept building up and storing all the things I was creating using my MO. Where was I putting them? On the web. That was the picture of it. That was where the internet intersected with my ambitions. I used the internet as a store that people could browse through, okay, for all the things I was creating. Even though I had no buyer, I began to put it all up there and began to study more and more about how to get people to discover it and to decide they could check it and buy. I didn't know what people would buy amongst all the things I was creating, but I kept creating them. All right. So I was doing a lot of article writing because I loved writing. Like I told you, it was my MO. It did not matter how many I wrote and how many times nobody responded. I just kept writing. I always thought of something. My brain was always generating, and I was constantly reading. So I was feeding, all right, my need. I will feed it with new knowledge, read up stuff, move around, experience people, come and write. And I kept doing it, and I kept doing it, and I kept doing it. What happened was over time I built up to about critical mass. The search engines began to show my stuff. This is where my interest in web marketing for business success comes. I realized that I could use article marketing to generate leads, to attract people to me, to make them discover me and to discover what I had to offer. So I was putting up more stuff in form of articles, in form of PDF reports, in form of web pages, and I kept doing it. Sometimes I would do videos, but I was doing mostly article writing. I kept going and using all platforms. At the point I was even selling my articles. Some of my articles were bought $25, So I kept thinking of all topics. But the thing was, I was always at peace. I was always fulfilled whenever I could write and I could finish a particular write-up. It didn't matter if it was a book or an article. I just kept going. What I've tried to describe to you here is the process I followed. I did not overthink it. I did not bother about whether somebody bought last week or last month. I would borrow money to go and do more write-up and publish it on the web. I would steal money from the purse of my children's mother to go. I would steal 100 naira, go and get another extra hour in the cyber cafe. I kept going and going and going. Little by little, I began to build on the web, and I began to get indexed on the web. And little by little, I began to get inquiries coming into my email box from my contact forms on the website. People were asking me different things, and I was using the article marketing to promote my software, using the article marketing to promote my books, my training that I offered on feed formulation, different things like that. I would always do a link, do a call to action at the bottom, and like I said, gradually I began to get inquiries, then sales and sales and sales. And today the system is there. The beauty about the internet is that nothing you put out there goes to waste. It's always like you're building on different levels, like building blocks. You're adding building blocks and you're going so higher and higher and higher. If you keep going, you keep getting higher and higher. That means your material will speak for you. At a point, people will discover you and just find out that, like I said, they will discover that you have a seemingly unending or an endless supply of what they want. And then naturally they will embrace you because you will look more real to them as a provider of the solution they want than any other person. This is where you need to be if you want to really begin to reap the returns from that passion you have, which is your magnificent obsession. You need to get yourself to the point where you achieve critical mass in the volume of material you create, relating to that your magnificent obsession in a way that makes people that need it discover you and then come to you on their own. So you need to use the web. This is the reason why I'm doing this Finding Good Buyers series, because it is the key to selling anything. The fact that I'm focusing on farmers is only because they are my primary target audience. But actually what I do, I have clients who are in other industries and other markets, but they are in the minority. So I only use the farmers as an example because they are my main audience. However, what I'm doing is applicable in any business, to any business model. Even if you're a writer, if you want to get noticed and you want to get referred to and treated as an expert authority and paid as one. Then you need to build yourself up using the web. And the web is the greatest leveler known to mankind. It doesn't matter how big the other competitors are. If you do your stuff, they'll think you are just as big, if not bigger. Just do what I'm telling you. Use the web as a platform on which to promote what you do. Then, of course, make sure you don't stop investing in yourself to develop yourself with regard to your MO. Keep building and building, but keep promoting as well. You'll find that at some point there will be an intersection. People will begin to come, they will discover you, and by that time, you will have enough with which to demand for payment from people. Believe me, more often than not, they will be the one asking you, how much does it cost? They won't even say, can I get it free? Because they will know that you have so much more to offer them that they would rather just pay you and just begin to get access to it. I know what I'm saying. I've lived this truth for a long time. So what I'm saying, I'm just trying to give back. I keep saying it again and again. I'm only trying to give back. I'm sharing all this information. I could as well have locked it up in my members only club, but I realized that a lot of people just don't know, and I think I need to paint a picture for them using this series. That's what I'm trying to do, use to paint a picture for you. Hopefully those who follow this series and just go through all the videos in this series, hopefully you will get the message. You have the power in your hands. The web is there. The web can make the smallest person become bigger than the bigger people or the biggest people. All you have to do is invest. And the best way to invest the best way you can invest is to invest in a manner that you can never get tired. And how do you do it that you never get tired? Invest in your magnificent obsession. Because then, even if when you don't see results, even when you see no results at all, you will not get tired of doing it. Because it's your magnificent obsession. I hope this has been useful. This is something these are some of the tutorials, quote unquote, that I have to share with you to help you understand that there's a kind of philosophy that guides the practice that I'm trying to describe to you in terms of finding good buyers. There's a philosophy that underlies it, and this is one of the elements in that philosophy. If you have any questions, reach out to me using the contact details provided at the end of this video. I wish you well.